Hello again, Year 4. I hope you are all well and are all keeping well. I'm going to talk you through Thursday's lesson starting with maths. We're going to continue with time. That means we're going to be looking at digital clocks as well as analog. So if you've got access to those, that would be great. So analog clock is the one with the hands, and then obviously the digital clock is the sort that you get on your phone and items like that. So if you haven't got access to those, that's great. If you are using a phone, obviously make sure you've got permission from your adult. I want you to start thinking about, if you put the hours and the minutes on a digital clock, what would that look like on an analog clock? So it's the fact that those digits on the left-hand side on your digital clock represent the hours, and those on the right-hand side are representing the minutes. So you need to, it's basically applying those skills from the analog clocks to using that on the digital clocks as well. There is a link to a lesson talking through some of that. It doesn't cover everything we need, and obviously you don't need to watch that, but it is there and could be useful if you do want to use that. And then there's a worksheet to complete which will be converting between the two, so you'll be looking at a time on an analog clock and then being asked to put that onto a digital clock, and then the same only vice versa. You might also want to write in the time in words as well, and it's just to show that we can tell the time using different instruments, all clocks but a different form of clocks. Then it's moving on to English, so we're going to be looking at locating those features within an information text. So we've been learning about those features of information text, which is going to be about locating those within an information text and then answering questions about those, retrieving information using those information texts. There is a worksheet again embedded into the home learning timetable, so if you double click on that, open it up, and there'll be an information text and questions to answer. And that brings us on to science in the afternoon. So we've been looking at pitch and amplitude in science. So the idea is this lesson is to maybe see if you've got anything at home that you could make your own instrument out of. Now it is really important you've got permission from your adult to use any items around the house for making these instruments, and make sure if possible you have supervision if you're using anything that could be dangerous such as scissors, etc. So we want you to, it might be a string type instrument, it might be a wind instrument, or it might be a percussion instrument. That's completely up to you. You might, again with permission from adults, you might want to have a little Google of instruments that you could make at home, but we want you to have a go at making one of those instruments. And then I want you to think about how you might be able to change the pitch on your instrument. Is that by maybe changing which string you use, if it's a string type instrument, if you alter the way you're playing it by holding one of the strings in whilst doing so, and the same goes for the other types of instruments as well. So can you alter the pitch of it? Same with amplitude. I want you to then think about what happens when you're playing that instrument to change the pitch or amplitude. I would like you to maybe make some notes on that, please, and get some photos of that as well if possible. Again, obviously only if you've got permission from an adult to do that. It is really important during that lesson that you do get an adult's permission to use any materials and supervision if it's needed as well, please. So yeah, once you've done that, make a few notes about how you change the amplitude on your instrument, how you change the pitch, and again, if you can get some photos with permission, that would be great. And we'll speak to you again soon. Bye.